But you wasn't stupid, yo.
Slide over here because we need to add this to the end. Right. Okay.
Auntie.
Man, you got me on. All right, man. Making me come back and shit.
Yeah, you already know. I caught some snake last week.
Making me come back. What's good? I don't know if I'm in the camera, but whatever. But nah, I was just saying like, you know, like when you're a guy, when you're a boy growing into trying to be a man, a lot of the things we only know what goes on in our household. Like that's what's normal to us. You know what I'm saying? So how we have conversations with our mom, everything that a boy does like kind of with his mom is kind of how he's gonna do it when he gets out here like dealing with women. You know what I'm saying? So I think, but I don't have children, so let me preface it with that. I don't have children, but I was a child. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a parent, but I have a parent. And now that I'm like grown, some of the ways that my mom and my dad like raised me, like I could see that in my behavior as an adult, whether it be right or wrong or whatever, you just recognize it. And sometimes you kind of wish that your parents would have been, I don't want to say less of a parent, but like when you're a parent, you're trying to coach your kid to be a functioning adult. There's some parts of adulthood that parents kind of like skip over. And I think, and my mind just automatically goes to the dating thing because that's like the easiest thing to kind of compare everything to when you're talking about like relationships between boys and their moms and men and women or girls and their dads versus like women and men or whatever. And it's just like when y'all were talking about that, I was just over there like, oh man, like I just want to say something, but because like, and then I think y'all said something else about when you think you might be doing something overbearing, you hit her up. And I don't know how old y'all children are, but do you actually have that conversation with your child too? Because a lot of the time, even if you can think back when you were a kid, right? It's a level of appreciation that kids will have, like when you don't talk over them, like you know what I'm saying, like just because they're a child. Because sometimes like it can make a child feel like their opinion or their voice don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? But like if you do something and you step back and you're like, damn, like that might have been too much. And then you talk right over your child and then you talk to her like, yo, was I doing too much? But you never go back to the kid and be like, yo, do you think that was a little too much? Or just an apology. And I'm not saying that you don't do none of this. I'm just thinking of like my own experiences and like how my parents kind of like raised me. Like we always had an open line of communication where they've apologized to me on several occasions, and I'm not Haitian either. I know, but I know that's not even a thing really in Black culture, and from what I hear from like Caribbean and Haitian culture, it's even less of a thing.
They don't know what
like,
it is.
You know what I'm saying?
But they don't know what an apology is.
But again, it's like think about the effect that maybe had on y'all when you were a child. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not saying that it's a terrible effect or a great effect, but just think of whatever the effect was and like think of like little ways that you can maybe tweak within your parenting to where you're not setting your child to feel the same way that maybe you felt. You know what I'm saying? Because I know whenever even when I have children, I would try to speak to my children and show them respect, because it's like sometimes like we forget to, just even as adults in general, we forget to respect children because they're children, but they're still people. Right. They're still human beings. And like if you're a child and you've never been respected by an adult, when you grow up, you're not gonna never really respect adults, or that too, because like we view the world a lot of the time through like our childhood lens. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of gotta. I can't even imagine being a parent. That's why I pull out. That's why I told you, because it's so many Like these are just like little bitty things on top of like having to take care of somebody, make sure somebody's good, make sure they eat, make sure they like all of the general things that you have to do like as a parent. But then on top of that, you got to hit all of these nuances and all of these caveats that, when you just trying to be a good parent, like a lot of this stuff kind of like slips through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because it's a lot of things I kind of wish and I feel like my parents did a great job. But my mom specifically, it's some things that I felt like she raised me to be such a man that she would want, but like when she's fully matured. Right. And you skip over the part of like how do you teach a boy to be socially popping, for lack of a better term. But when you're in those when you're in those years where you're most like your brain you're not fully developed yet, but you're what's the word I'm looking for? You're most impressionable. Mm-hmm. Like parents kind of seem to skip over that part where it's like, yeah, but how do I be popping like that, like the TikTok thing? Mm-hmm. Sometimes like right now, like socially, like kids kind of need that. They need to kind of have that, like, I guess, popularity on like social media because that's all they know. Like we grew up in a time before social media even existed where we was outside, like, right. And that's how we had to gain our social proof or whatever. But a lot of social proof now is done through people's phones, and like if that's the way they do it, you kind of gotta let them do it.
Right. I'm laughing because just today, Josiah was like, yo, because now he started taking the bus, mm-hmm. right? And he's like, yo, Mom, do you know when you're going to allow me to go out, like, with my friend? And I was like, what friend? That's a Haitian to me. Like, you don't have friends. Yeah, I was like, I am your friend. So, I am your only friend. So, but I did. I was like, what friend? And he was like, my friend, the one that I go with, because we live in the community now, right? And I was like, never? Never? I said, did I tell you? I said, because the way he asked me, and I was like, it's never okay, right? And he was like, Mom, be serious. And he was like, I asked you this yesterday, right? Like, and I say, did you? Right? I say, but where y'all going? Where y'all hanging? Where you gonna go hang out? He said, I'm just gonna. And again, I'm forgetting he's 14 and could just like maybe go out by himself or whatever, because I legit wanted to like drive him to the bus stop, and it's like right there. I mean, this is the whole reason why he's not in homeschool anymore, because remember, he's like, because I want friends. I said, why do you want to be homeschooled? Because I want friends, and not just friends on, the computer. And so it's so true what you say, because he'll always tell me you're not listening. And the thing is, I've taught my son at a very young age to express himself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I regret that, because I just want to be like, I do. Sometimes I do, because he's been negotiating with me since he was little, and he's still negotiating, and now he's negotiating, So now I was like, why did I teach you to speak your mind? Because this is why parents don't do this, And now I said, now I understand why parents don't let you guys talk. Because then this happens, right? Now I got to listen to you and you're talking nonsense, right? So, but he was like, you don't listen to me. You're not listening, right? And I'm like, I do hear you, but what you're saying is, I'm not trying to hear that. So it's not like I'm not listening. I said, oh, no, I heard you. I really did. But what you're saying is,
It's so hard, right? Because boys have to be like raised different than what we know because we're women. Right?
Yeah, and I don't try.
And I feel bad sometimes.
I don't try. I be like, yo, you don't have. I actually go look for men for him. I do, cause I always tell him, I am a woman. I'm going to give you from my perspective. I could tell you what to do to bag one. Okay, I could tell you how to get. I could tell you how to from my perspective. No, but listen, from my perspective, from a woman, like I know what I would want a man to do for me.
But that's what you're in your. I'm not gonna ask you exactly how old you are, but I'm assuming you in your 30s, all right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you in your,
I'm not in my 30s.
You're in your 20s.
I'm in my 30s though.
30s, 20s. I don't know.
20s.
I don't look. All right, so
I look like it though.
I would have.
She's my older sister.
Well, she can still be in your 30s.
I'm 41. I'm going to be 42.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's even. I mean, amazing. Congratulations on your skin, but that's from what I'm saying. That's even worse. Like like how you going?
That's Generation Z.
But I'm just saying, like you can't tell a 14-year-old how to bag a 41-year-old. You can't. It ain't gonna work.
I'm talking about from his little girlfriend.
That ain't gonna work.
Okay, let me tell you. So this boy, just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, used my Amazon to send his little girlfriend that's in North Carolina some gifts, right? So I'm like, so he's like, yo, he's trying to ask me what can I send her, whatever the case may be. So you know me, I'm just, first of all, I'm like, who you sending anything? What, you ain't even supposed to have no girlfriend, right? After I got over that, right? I was like, well, what you sending her? But he was like, he didn't tell me. But he ordered the stuff and sent it to her. I'm looking on, my thing, like my orders, and I see this little plush, little heart thing. So silly, right? So
it's silly to you.
Yes, to me.
You're 14.
Because I think I was telling him, well, maybe you could get her like a chain or thing, and I was not helping him, right? No, he was like, no, and I just want to say like a little. That's like too much, right? I was like, and then so he buys this thing. I'm looking at it, and whatever the case may be, and I'm just like, this is the best you could do. Right? He's like, yes, but then he's like, with the money I got in my bank account, yes. You didn't want to pay for it. Because he's bent on not using his business account for nothing. So this is like his personal account, right? So, I mean, the thing was like maybe $10 or something like that.
But Rose, you cannot, and I know that
I don't try.
I can't even help the young ones date in this day and age because we're a completely different generation.
He said
there's different standards, there's different ways of
and obviously apparently they're stupid today.
This girl a chain and she's probably perfectly content with this stuff.
She obviously was.
Okay, so you can't tell him.
Yeah. She obviously was because even
your mom.
But it's like I was talking to this other guy, right? We was talking and he was saying, but the girls now, right? He's like, you can't even say that because I don't know. I don't even remember what the conversation was, but the story was, and then when you try to go up to them and be like, hey, I like you, right? They be like, what? What did you say? He's like, you be trying to come like in their ear and say it like all slow, but then they get all loud and want to tell everybody what you trying to tell them. He's like,
y'all see what we gotta go through? And people be thinking, people be thinking.
He's like, men is different from females. Like, he was like, men is different from females because, like, if you go and say, I like you, whatever, we know how to, but not us. We go and say, I like you and stuff. And you're like, what? What did you say? You like me. Then everybody in the room got to hear you. So I was like, did this happen to you? He was like, I'm not even going to go and do that because this is how they move now.
Ruby snitched on her brother the other day.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, mommy, Saya has a girlfriend. I said, what? Saya does not have a girlfriend.
Snitched
No,
on him.
no, he's too young.
Saya has a girlfriend.
Like,
Well, he came and he told me and Grandma that he has a girlfriend in his.
see, and he can't even tell you that. I had to get over that real quick, or else he wasn't gonna tell me nothing. I was like, really? I found it.
I'm not okay with the girlfriend word yet.
Yo,
I'm not okay with
that's his girlfriend. Okay, they probably kissing and everything.
Listen, I was like,
Listen,
my son is 9.
9, yeah, they kissing.
He kissing
They
either. I'm
kissing.
fighting.
They kissing. He would tell. Look, I found out he had a girlfriend because I go through his phone. He know I go through his phone. So what? I'm gonna go through your phone. You know that. And he be like, well, I don't have nothing to hide. And so I was like, so what's your girlfriend name? And he was like, which one? And I'm like, this is who can I call? Who? I'm trying to look at the list of like wholesome men
We ain't got nothing.
that I got people that he could talk to. I mean, we ain't letting him talk to grandpa,
Heck no.
but not grandpa or great grandpa.
Great-grandpa,
Okay,
any of the boys.
but I try as a man. I know there's certain things that I can't like do. Like I always tell him when he comes and asks me certain questions, I usually start with that disclaimer. I'm going to be telling you this from a woman's perspective. You need, how about you call, Apostle, or how about like I get somebody, and usually I'll find somebody that I know is going to give him sound advice, not like people that, there's this guy, he was like, yeah, how old are you? Yeah, we got to get you some pussy. I was like, what? What? You can't talk to my son. Goodbye. He was like, this is the age. This is the age. He was so serious.
So like, do y'all have? Have y'all had like sex talks and all that?
Oh, we had more than the sex talk because one day he came and said, how do you know if you're gay? And I was like, would you want somebody to put their penis up your butt? He's like, ew. I said, you ain't gay. Because you didn't think about it. You didn't say maybe. I said, do you want a penis in your mouth?
Yo, wait a minute.
I had to ask these questions.
That's a wild sex talk. But not like.
But we've had it so we're past sex talk.
Okay.
Because we got to even just like knowing, like what do such and such. But by him saying no, like I'm like, then you're not, because you're not even contemplating.
So my question with that is, you said he's 14. Mm-hmm. So like, if he's 14, but 14 is too young, which I mean I would say that's too young, but what is an appropriate age? And before you answer that, me personally, like I didn't start having sex until I was 20. If I could go back and reverse it, I would have started sooner. I would have started sooner just because, again, like from parent brain, I think that you would want your child to wait as long as they possibly could, because you know that sex kind of can bring children, it could bring craziness, it could bring like a weird tornado of emotions that wouldn't have been there if sex wasn't had. It could bring a lot of these other things. But one of the things that I don't think the parent brain really accounts for is that a young black boy, like in the climate that we're kind of in, being a virgin is not really the dopest thing to be from a social standpoint. Or even when you do start having sex, if you're inexperienced at the sex that you're having as a black young man, that's not the dopest thing to be, if you from a social standpoint. So like, if you now take all of that into account when you're having the conversations like with your son, I just wonder if the age of like when you should or shouldn't start having sex, I wonder if that ever would it change if you take those things into account.
Well, I got
because one last thing, because like think about some of the sex that you've had. No, like I'm being real though. Think about some of the sex that you've had, some of the really, really great sex versus some of the really, really trash sex. And 9 times out of 10, probably the really, really trash sex was probably coming from men who were very, very inexperienced. And think about how you thought about them after the sex was trash. Think about, exactly, right? So think about all of that. Think about what you said about him, what you thought about him, if you lost respect for him, and then think about if young women would be thinking about your son like that because he decided to wait for X amount of years until he wanted to start having sex because of the conversation that he had with you. That's not something that moms think about.
Okay, well we're not trying to be dope for other people. We're trying to be dope for ourselves. So I have to talk about this from 2 perspectives because I am a woman of faith. You understand? It is not why I promote not having sex before marriage, right? It is because of the other things that comes along with it. Is, when you are intimate with somebody, whether it's sexual or not, whether it's like intercourse, like in sexual, whether you're actually doing the act, intimacy, period, right? There is transferring of spirits. There's transferring of different things. So we've talked about that. And being very mindful who you are going to lay with when that time comes. I didn't wait till I was married, right? Women thinks, again, this is a question and a conversation that I would have to get a man to help him. A man that I trust, a man that have our same beliefs, and a man that have our same, values. Because I'm going to talk from a woman perspective. A woman always wish we waited. We always wished we waited, right? Whereas, I know, I don't want to be putting him out there, but I know we've also worked on how can we get our penis size bigger, right? And again, that's because of the stigma of not having, not being endowed, right? So it's I have to make sure that I am a good size and stuff like that, right? An appropriate age, I can't really tell you an appropriate age. I could tell you an appropriate relationship, if that makes sense, right? It's definitely not 14. And I always start with, do you have money? I always start with, can you even afford it? You understand what I'm saying? You can't be broke and then be thinking about sex. How you don't got no money and you want to lay up with somebody? No. So I teach my son that. He taught that to me when he was 6 with that Justin Bieber song. So he was very smart at the age of 6. Because it was we could be hungry, we could be broke, as long as you la 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 la. That song. I'm probably singing it wrong. But the word says we could be together, we could be hungry, we could be broke, right? And the video is her dad chasing him because he don't want them to be together. And he said, Mom, that girl should stay with her daddy because he talk about being hungry and broke as long as you love. That was 6 years old. Okay, so our perspective for that is this. So my thing is, can you even afford this? Don't be somebody laying up with somebody and you can't give nothing. That's just what I teach, right? And I don't like when men do it to me. Not that I'm laying up with nobody. I don't know, they be like the minister laying up with people. No. But I'm just saying, even in just relationships, I'm trying to teach him this, everybody needs love. Everybody wants to be in a relationship. Everybody wants that, right? But I have a problem with men trying to have whole women. Y'all want caliber of women. Y'all want, y'all want tasteful women. Y'all want women y'all could, that's going to be loyal and all this other stuff, right? But y'all ain't got nothing.
I need y'all to go back and watch the last episode of the Auntie Chronicles, Venus versus Mars, because this was a highlight of the conversation.
You know, y'all don't have nothing. So I teach my son basically be financially ready. Don't be trying to lay up with a girl and you bringing her to your mama house or whatever. Don't he already know, because we would have these conversations and they'd be like, "What's your requirement to have a girlfriend?" Right? He makes his own money now, so that's not gonna work for me now. But you know, I'd be like, "I ain't gonna take care of you, your girlfriend. You want a girlfriend? Can you, you know?" You better be able to handle that girlfriend by yourself, pocket-wise, everything. Don't be coming to ask me for nothing, okay? This is when he was buying that little girl his little gift. He knew to use his card and not mine, okay? So that's the first thing. Like, be financially ready. Be emotionally ready. Be mentally ready, you know, before you go do this thing.
Right.
And make sure the homegirl, you know, is the same way.
That's what we do, and I think that's more of a woman's touch with boys and with men, and helping them being emotionally ready, or even just know how to deal with emotion. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of kids that big boys don't cry. You know, you gotta be tough all the time, and it's like, okay, and then when he gets older and he cannot articulate his feelings, then what? Like, what are we supposed to do with that? And now you have a man who can't even tell you how he's feeling because he doesn't even know how to put that thing into words, but he knows he's feeling something. Like, I've dealt with people who did not know how to express their feelings. Like, I could tell that they're going through something. Like, I could tell that whatever I did might have, you know, offended them or hurt their feelings. Like, I remember, I actually had to have a conversation with somebody, and I told them, I was like, listen, I want to apologize to you for anything that I did knowingly or unknowingly that might have hurt your feelings. And I remember a conversation after the fact is they didn't even realize how much they needed that from me until I said it. Right. But the whole time, they never said how they were feeling. They never said that I made them feel some type of way. They never said, you know, these things. But I feel like sometimes, like, men don't have that space.
And he said that in that same conversation.
I overreacted with Saya because Saya is very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
So it's just like for him to have a girlfriend and you're still learning how to articulate your emotions. It literally just I overreacted. Like, what? You don't have a girlfriend? And it was just like it was the end of the conversation.
No conversation.
It was just like, all right. After a while, I came back and was like, I think I may need to have a conversation with my son because
nine is an age where
I was dating at 9.
You having a conversation.
Yeah, I think I kissed a boy at 9.
You know,
yeah, I did.
At 9, 10 years old, regardless of if, and this is why, like, in my program with the girls, we talk about this thing. Regardless of if y'all having the conversation, it's being had. They're like figuring this thing out on their own. Like, I was that young girl who was having sex trying to figure things out because all I know, I can't talk to them about it. I can't talk to nobody else about it. All I can hear from is my friends. So it's like, it's either you're gonna have those conversations with the kids, or you're gonna let them figure it out and learn from social media, TV.
Because they're gonna learn it
YouTube,
from somewhere.
Their friends, you know, high school, you know, elementary school, wherever. They're gonna learn, but you want to be able to, like, teach them the right way.
Right.
I had a friend of mine who was upset that I wasn't teaching abstinence in my program. First of all, I can't teach anything that I'm not actively doing. And I was honest. Like, how am I going to tell them to be abstinent and I'm over here busting it wide open?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, right? I can only, and when I was abstinent, because I did practice, I did abstain from sex for like a year and a half. So during that time frame, I definitely was teaching abstinence. You know what I'm saying? Because I can tell you how I'm getting through it. But we have to have those, like, real conversations about what's really going on. I'm not gonna. And another reason why I don't teach just, you know, abstinence, whatever. I teach about the mental, emotional, psychological effects of sex, the soul ties. Like,
yeah.
Super real. Like, there are so many other things and other aspects that, like, they'll just tell you, don't have sex. But they don't tell you, like, the reasons behind not having just sex with everybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be mindful as women, as us being receivers. We're receiving people's energies and their spirits and everything, whatever demons they might be carrying.
And you don't want.
But it's real. It's so
but it's real because even I'm gonna go a little bit Bible. I'm not gonna go too deep, but in Proverbs, it says this, and this is wait. But let me tell you really short. And this is what I say to men. Right? And it talks about a king, and he says that his mom told him, don't give your strength away to women. Because when you're not committed to a woman and you go ahead and lay up with this person, this is what I teach my son, then you giving her your strength. Because she's, as opposed to when you give in to somebody that is supposed to be doing life with you. You understand? You just wasting that energy. Okay, so we could get, with your words, right? Energy. You're wasting that energy if you're not getting in this place with somebody that means well for you and that's gonna be there for you. You understand that you're not committed to, right? That you're not really connected to that way. So when you're going ahead and you're having sex with people that you're not connected with, and you're just having sex just to be having sex, and from a man, you're giving that energy and wasting that energy. And so that's the only thing that I could just really tell him from right now. We're not really trying to be popular, and I thank God he doesn't care about people being popular. He did talk about that though. In that same conversation, he was saying, y'all be like, you a man, don't be talking about your feelings, you cry and such and such. But then when you do say something, 'cause I'm quick to call a man a female. Don't let a man be talking to me and he just got so. Yes, I do. Like even complaining. I don't know. It's an oxymoron, right? So let's say let's say I did something wrong. Right? And then now he complained. He said, oh, you such and such, and da-da-da, and da-da-da. And you said, and I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. And then maybe you mention it again or twice because, whatever I did offended you. I will straight be like, yo, stop being a female. I say it all the time. Like, if they're complaining about something, if something hurt, oh, my stomach hurt,
but they're human.
But I'm telling you who I be, okay? And I be like, you're straight acting like a female right now. I say it.
But that's not cool.
Like, it's the same thing. I'm telling her, like, yo, you have to stop doing that. Like, I understand you were raised by a very independent mom, but men have feelings too.
They do.
He's being a female.
Yeah, you being real female right now. I mean, I'm not the type of female to not.
He can't tell you he feels some type of way about something that you did.
About like one time. You get like 3 times you complain over it. It's like, come on, leave that for the females to do.
What if you keep doing it? What if you ain't stopping?
I'm not going to keep on doing it. That's the thing.
I don't believe you.
But I mean, but I say it.
I don't believe you.
Listen, I say it, but I don't really hold like true to it. But I'm just saying I know how that is because I do that. I do that. Like if I've straight up, huh? What?
Nice.
What, did I call a man a female? Because he talking too damn much.
Yes.
You in your feelings right now. Like, I be like, I do it.
See, this is, he was.
I'm just saying, like, I be so right. Like, people kind of get thrown off because I be cursing and I'm a little, I could be a little whatever. I be right a lot of the time. I be trying to tell you.
But it's not with every, like, I don't feel that way.
Right.
I ain't calling nobody, no man or female.
So what if somebody was like, yo, put your dick away? Like if you did some shit that was like considered masculine. Like, yo, take your dick off the table real fast. Exactly. Like you acting like a man. You acting like a nigga right now.
But they always tell me that.
Take your dick, but I'm saying like how, but.
He said it like, whoever
So why can you?
Like back in the day, I would have said you acting like a bee. I done clean it up now. I got them cursed, so I say female.
That's not cleaning it up.
That's not it.
That's not cleaning it up.
Female,
It's still derogatory, but it's still derogatory. It's meant to be an insult, and it's derogatory.
Degrading him. And
so I guess it's like we say that because we attach women with being emotional, right? And so any man, right? Yeah.
It's wrong. What we're saying is that that's not right.
But what I'm saying is,
men don't feel like they can.
but I'm not doing it. What I'm saying is like I'm saying that it's in a joking manner, and if that person feels, because you know me, if that person is like, yo, such and such, or they not taking my joke, right, then I have to sit back and not say that.
Sit back and not say that, period.
No.
No, like I would.
It depends too. Like I'm not just going to say to you, you're being a female. The person has to probably know.
But this is the thing, though. Like just being like the only man in the room. Like no, I don't think any man would like take kindly to be, you know what I'm saying, being referred to as a woman.
No, at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like under any circumstance, honestly.
None.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be called a bitch, a female, a woman, a girl, a pussy, nothing. None of that.
Like when I be like,
like none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be the same thing as like, you know what I'm saying? Some women don't even like to be referred to as female. Like, oh, you acting like a female. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes like some women take that offensive, or some.
You feel like a girl. I saw something that says like you feel like a girl, and they was like, well, what does a girl feel like? Well, I
Like that. My bad. I was
but no, you really gotta chill with that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have been called, like, I remember I was in a relationship and the boy was like if I wanted to be with a dude, I'd have been gay. I just was like, well, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
you acting like a dude.
So I take offense to that. So I would think a man would be offended by being called a female, joking or not. That's not even a joke.
That's like me be like, oh, bitches. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's not funny, girl. It's not funny.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, I know that, and like I said, sometimes I'm saying it. I will try to do better. I will try to do better. I mean, sometimes I'm cussing you out, but I would try to do better. And I think is really within. I mean, like I said, you said it's never right. But the person know me, and I'm going to be talking to you. You might not get offended, if you know that I'm not.
I don't know a man who would not get offended by.
They may not say nothing, but they're probably offended.
I'm gonna now I'm gonna go do surveys. I'm like, when I called you a female, because I got a couple of men that I recently called female. So I'm gonna be like, the other day when I called you, when I say you was acting like a female, were you offended? Or whatever, and they probably be like, you were just being Rose, and then I'm gonna get offended. I'm like, what would that be? What would that mean? I would just be Rose. What do Rose be? Because I mean, recently I've had an issue where people were saying I had no filter, and I don't know, it just kept on bothering me. Look at you. And I could relate that with it. You know what I'm saying? I could, because it's not like they were saying something wrong to me, but I just didn't like the fact that they kept saying, I don't know, until this day I'm trying to figure out why it started bothering me, because this is something that I've heard, for so long, and it's just like, now I'm just like, huh?
I told you have no filter like that, bro. You no filter at all.
I know, but just like,
Blunt and straight to it.
Like, damn, you don't give a fuck about nobody.
That's not true.
Bro.
But
she comes off.
Why do we like this, Rose? Because I've heard that as well.
Like we don't got.
I met your mama.
I'ma blame Jadon.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna lie. I love your mama, but y'all get it from her.
Yeah, I'ma blame her. Sometimes if you know my mom, I be like, this is my mom, so you know.
My mom. So
And she be like, blame it on me.
the funniest thing though is if you don't know her, like you would like people who have not listened to conversations with me and my mother.
I told you to have her on here.
Like my friends, they know my mom throw it off because like when I have conversations with her, certain things she'll say to me, I'm like, yo, let's tell you what my mom said to me like today or whatever the case may be. So like they know, but if you don't know her, you're like, oh my gosh, she's such a sweetheart. She's the nicest lady you could ever. She is the most shadiest person I have ever met.
Yeah.
My mom is a master manipulator. Okay.
Let me talk about my mom. I'm not saying it, mama.
Mom, you are the.
I always be like, how you want me to be a better person when you my mom? I was trying. She asked, how am I gonna be a better person, Lord? Look who you gave me as a mother. You know, I always say that. She be like, well.
May not call her in a week. Hello, stranger.
Yes.
Petty.
Very.
My bad, mom. I didn't mean to be a stranger.
Nah, she can't come on here. You gotta do candid camera with her. Like all of the best moments that I have with my mom are always when she's not paying attention and I just start.
And she just starts, and she always ready for it. I'm never ready.
Never.
Yeah.
Even today, like she was like, I was like, oh, she's watching the show, and she's like, and there's a person that doesn't stop cursing.
She got so wild.
And that was me. So sorry guys. All right. I'm out of here. I just had to come on here because you said a couple of things. I just wanted to address them. But thanks for letting me, you know what I'm saying, grab a seat real quick again.
So we really gonna wrap this up.
I know this can't be all in one pot.
Yeah. So catch us on the next episode of the Auntie Chronicles. You all have a great night. Peace.
Auntie, 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 auntie.